Hi, and welcome to You, Me, and Mediumship. Tonight, I'm just going to talk about what to expect when sitting in the power. And yet again, I'll explain that's not a description I use. I tend to use sitting for self and sitting for spirit, because I think, like I said before, probably a million times if you've watched the videos, that I just find that a little harsh and to some degree maybe slightly misleading. I can understand why that title was used originally, and obviously I've got total respect for that. But if I talk about sitting for spirit, then you'll understand that it's along the same lines as sitting in the power. So, what do we expect? Well, first of all, I think sometimes it can be a little misleading. The reason I say that is really the reasoning behind this sitting in the energy of spirit is not simply to expect visions, voices, or whatever really. It's not the reason behind it. The reason why we sit within that space, within the beauty of that energy, is simply to be and to absorb. The reason behind this is kind of like awakening that spirit self, that soul, that energy within you. If you think about it, all day, we are kind of controlled by mind. We get up, we have a breakfast, we go to work, come home, we cook the dinner, we watch the telly, etc., etc., or whatever it is you may do. So we're kind of in that routine, if you like, of this mind-controlled presence. When we sit in the energy, when we sit for spirit, we are letting go of that. We are releasing ourselves from that mind bond, if you like. And by doing that, we are allowing the spirit self, that soul, that energy within, to step forward. And this is probably the most important part of that sitting, I will say in the power for your sake so that you understand what I'm talking about. But sitting in that power, that is the main reason why it is important to do it. We do not sit in the power to expect communication. That is not the reason behind it. I've been asked the question more than once, how long shall I sit in the power before I do a reading? Which kind of hinted to me that a lot of people have got a hold of the wrong end of the stick. You do not need to sit in the power before you do a reading. Certainly, sit in your space, sit in peace, attune yourself, speak with your guides, your helpers, send out that intent, send out that gratitude. They are well aware that you are going to work, whether it be a one-to-one, whether it be a demonstration. They are well aware of that. I always give thanks before a reading or a demonstration for the work they do with me, and I appreciate all what they do for me. And I make sure that they are aware of that. I do not need to sit in the power before I do a reading. That is simply a practice for you to do, to allow that energy within you, outside of that mind, outside of everyday life. You are simply allowing self, that spirit self, to step forward by being in that space. And by doing so, what you are doing is kind of retraining self. The ability to allow that energy within you to step forward and play a part in everyday life has been lost because you are on that hamster wheel. You are engrossed in what you do every day of the week, going to work, looking after your families, paying the bills, etc. That's what the mind's all about. It's there, like I've said before, to protect, to ensure that your needs are fulfilled in a material sense, that you keep a roof over your head. That is, if you like, the little computer that processes all those material things for you. There should be that connection between, obviously, spirit self and the mind. There should be a nice balance there. But as time goes on, the more we live in this material world and the more materialistic it gets, the deeper that spirit self gets buried. So it's important that we spend this time just sitting in that space, in that peace, and allowing the spirit self, the soul, to emerge, to step forward. Now, by doing this and reawakening this part of who you are then grasping the tool that you will use in your mediumship. You are allowing it to step forward. You are allowing it to expand within self. It is there for you to utilize when you're doing your readings, your demonstrations, whatever you're healing. We are simply awakening it from within. It is naturally there. We have buried it. So we are just letting that natural ability reawaken itself by sitting in the power. So the processes that you follow for sitting in the power, for me, have little effect. Simply by sitting there and allowing yourself in that peace and quiet, in that energy, by simply doing that, you are expanding your light. You don't need to imagine it. You don't need to imagine it expanding from your chest. You do not need to imagine it expanding from the top of your head. You do not need to do that. Because by simply sitting in that energy of self, you are expanding anyhow. You are allowing that spirit self to emerge out into the energy that surrounds you. Spirit are literally a step away, not a million miles from you. They are with you. They try and encourage you. They try and console you when you need consoling. They are there all the time. It is not a massive exercise of imagination to simply connect with them. It is simply allowing your energy, your spirit, your soul to step forward and merge with them. That is all you are doing while sitting in the power. Spirit were once in body, obviously. And now they are not. Your spirit is housed within your body. Your soul is housed within your body. And when you are sat in that beautiful energy of that peace and that light, you are allowing that soul and that spirit to emerge. So like attracts like. The spirit, once housed in body that has passed, and the spirit once housed within you, and now you're sitting in that energy and allowing it to step forward, those two energies, your spirit and spirit itself, can merge. That's where you get the sense. That's where you get the message. That's where you get the vision. those two energies merging together. Spirit impressing an image upon you, impressing a sound of words upon you, impressing a sense maybe of emotion upon you, so that you can relay a message to your sitter. When we sit in the power, we do not need to expect anything to happen. Do not punish yourself if you've sat there for an hour and you have seen and you have heard nothing. Because what is going on behind the scenes, if you like, you are not always aware of. So don't get out of that chair and punish yourself thinking you've done something wrong because you've seen nothing and you've heard nothing. Do not do that. The minute you start putting yourself in that frame of mind, you are building boundaries, and it will not help you at all. When you sit in the power, sit for spirit, sit for self. When you do that, literally send out an intent of sitting for spirit. I am sitting for you so that I can learn, so that I can be healed, so that I can enhance my knowledge. And simply because spirit are not there giving you a philosophy lesson does not mean you are not learning. You are not always aware of what is going on. The more we sit for spirit, sit in the power, the more we do that, the more we allow that natural ability to naturally step forward. It becomes a natural part of us, like it was in the beginning. And once it becomes a natural part of us, that sensing of spirit will become more enhanced. And when you go and do your readings and you do your demonstrations, you won't even have to think about it. You will not have to run through a process. You will not have to imagine lights shooting from every orifice you can imagine. You will not have to do that, because by sitting in the power, you have literally reawakened a natural sense, that natural ability. So when you sit with your sitter, spirit know you're working. Spirit know what the job is you have in hand. They know what you are doing. They will work with you. Just because we enhance that natural ability does not mean that we will be hearing spirit every day of the week, every second that we are awake. Spirit have respect for our purpose too. They know that we have a life to live. They will not step in unnecessarily. They will allow you to live your life. But when you have that reading booked, when you have that demonstration booked, they will be there and they will work with you. And you will not even have to go through any type of process whatsoever before your reading, because it is a natural part of you that you will be using, that you have awakened whilst you've sat in that space. Many of my students that I work with on Patreon think sometimes that when they're sitting in the power, that many things should be happening. Sometimes it does, and that is beautiful when it does. But it is not the be-all and end-all of sitting in the power. That is not the reasoning behind it. We are simply awakening self. Do not punish yourself. Keep sitting. Enjoy that space. Absorb that beautiful energy of spirit whilst you are sat. And allow spirit to do the work. And when you do your reading, they will be there. That's enough for me, I think. Yeah, well, I guess I will say the same old thing. Please like, please subscribe. Pop over to Patreon if you're interested in any teachings. And yeah, I'll speak to you again very soon. Take care. Bye for now.